The Trump administration scores a temporary win in the courts after successfully appealing an earlier ruling that paused the Remain in Mexico policy. Border reporter Oscar Margain explains what this means for migrants hoping to seek asylum.
In this border brief, Remain in Mexico policy. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals temporarily blocked last week's ruling by a California judge, meaning that the Trump administration can continue returning asylum seekers to Mexico to wait for their court hearings. The decision by the Ninth Circuit came just before a lower court injunction was to take effect on Friday. That injunction would have temporarily stopped the Trump administration's Migrant Protection Protocols program, also known as MPP or Remain in Mexico. The experimental policy, meant to stem the flow of undocumented migrants, was gradually introduced in California in late January and later implemented in El Paso, Texas, with plans to expand to other areas. In its appeal, the Justice Department argued that MPP was, quote, designed to address the dramatically escalating burdens of unauthorized migration, end quote, and that the lower court injunction would cause harm to the U.S. President Donald Trump praised the ruling on Twitter Friday. According to Mexico's National Migration Institute, the U.S. has returned more than 1,300 migrants to await their asylum hearings in Mexico. The appeals court will hear more arguments this week before deciding whether to keep the ruling in place for the duration of the lawsuit. That's your border brief. I'm Oscar Margain reporting.